Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Secrets and Strategies of the Ivy League with College Mentors for students and parents. I'm Kelvin, and I'll be your moderator. We'll keep this fast moving and practical. You'll hear what really counts in Ivy admissions, how to match yourself to the right Ivy, how to craft essays that impress, and when to start planning. Before we begin, a quick word about Aispire, a Silicon Valley edtech company offering free AI tools for school research and application planning. Their platform also lets you book meetings with mentors who match your interests, making expert guidance more accessible and affordable for all families. First up, Eric, a student at the University of Pennsylvania in the Huntsman Dual Degree Program in Business and International Relations. Eric, if I could have you turn on your video, that'd be helpful. A Philadelphia native and Masterman alum. He's an aspiring entrepreneur who leads a student consulting team and advises startups. Eric has helped students gain admissions to schools like Brown, Duke, Wharton, and Princeton. His focus is Ivy Plus strategy for students. Next is Tanisha, also at the University of Pennsylvania, studying political science, international relations, and cognitive science. Raised in both Philadelphia and Mumbai, she brings a cross-cultural perspective to college admissions. With strengths across humanities and STEM, she specializes in essay, Common App strategy, SAT planning, major exploration, and Ivy League admissions. All right, so let's dive in. Eric, take it away.
Yeah, of course. Hi, so as Kelvin introed, my name is Eric. So I'm in the Huntsman program. I'm a sophomore, and yeah, my passion is in entrepreneurship. Worked in a lot of startups my freshman year, and I'm now a analyst for a couple of venture capital firms. One of my passions is college consulting, and so I've helped a lot of students albeit from my high school or just people that I'm close with, helping them get into schools like Stanford, Brown, Wharton, and other Ivy Plus schools. And I've helped them from drafting a Common App to figuring out which school is fit for them. So yeah, excited to be here. I guess I'll just jump right into it. Alrighty. So this is how to navigate Ivy Plus admissions. So as a preface, this is just going to be a brief overview of everything. We're not necessarily going to be going into a deep dive of any one topic in particular, but it's just going to give you some insights, some tips, and an overview of what the process is like. So yeah, so about me, I guess we don't need to spend too much on this slide. So yeah, doing Huntsman dual degree program at Penn, Business and International Relations. And yeah, so this is the picture of the Huntsman program office, and this is my headshot. So let's take a look at the table of contents. So we're going to first talk about what do Ivy Plus schools look for. We're going to do a quick rundown of Ivies and other top schools. And number 3, which I personally think is most important, is mindset. It's how to approach imposter syndrome and FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out. All right, so as we begin, let's talk about what do Ivy Plus schools look for? So how can you as a parent or student leverage holistic admissions? So what does holistic admissions mean? So holistic admissions, it's an approach that evaluates applicants based on the whole person, looking at the entire context, looking at their story, and not just academic metrics. And so this practice emerged in the early 20th century, notably at Ivy League institutions like Harvard. So they basically began considering other factors like character and leadership potential in order to keep a diverse student body, because at the time, only certain racial minorities were disproportionately getting lower scores and thus not getting admitted into these high Ivy Plus schools. And as you can see with the last paragraph, historically college admissions relied heavily on standardized test scores, but as application numbers have surged dramatically over the past few decades, so basically schools like Penn and schools like Brown have been forced to consider multiple factors to be able to determine who gets in. So in all my college advising, I find the most important piece of advice is to be memorable. A lot of people, they chase uniqueness, they chase having some stellar competition award, but all in all, the goal is to be memorable and to be to be a person that the admissions officer can actually get to know. And so I think the subtitle puts it very bluntly, but very honestly. Like, you're basically shoving the past 17, 18 years of your life into an 11-page packet. And so you obviously need to put more than just your academics, more than just your merit awards, more than just your talents, but also your personality and what makes you human and what makes you you, what makes you different from other people. So yeah. So first, let's take like an analytical dive into what schools look for. And so, if you guys don't know, so the Common Data Set, it's a collaborative effort among higher education institutions to make their admissions processes more transparent. And so this is extremely helpful for both parents and students. For example, if I'm looking to apply to Penn again, then I would look up Penn Common Data Set 2024 to 2025 and research what exactly does Penn look for in their student body, look at patterns within their student body, and they even tell you exactly what factors are considered more than other factors. And so according to common data set information, we can sort of come to a conclusion with certain institutions. For example, MIT and Caltech, they love STEM. Wharton loves entrepreneurship, loves self-starters and problem solvers, and Yale focuses on how students will contribute to the community and demonstrate civic engagement. And now for a very short case study. So this is basically exclusive information that you only get after getting admitted to Penn, but I'm sharing some of the insights with you guys. So first, Penn reviews applicants based on 4 primary categories. So AI, which is academic index, POK, pursuit of knowledge, contribution, and then purpose. And so you can see on the chart that Penn focuses on these 4 qualities when evaluating students. And so in summary, Penn's evaluation framework is just one example of how selective institutions assess applicants. So a lot of elite schools will use similar multidimensional benchmarks. And so the slide here separates it into 3 broad categories. So academic preparation, personal development, and finally, institutional fit. So now let's talk about academics. So academics is the first hurdle in trying to get into any college. So essentially it acts as your resume when you're applying for a job. Basically, the school and the job or the employer needs to know that you are qualified enough, that you meet their benchmark in order to even consider all of your other factors. So contrary to what many people believe, academics is actually not included. And when admissions officers sit together in committee and they talk about what students should be admitted into their school, it's actually the first hurdle that every student needs to pass in order to even get talked about, and even to get your essays read, you need to pass the academic benchmark. And so let's talk about courses and GPA. So it's a balance between quality over quantity. So contrary to popular belief, taking 10 APs and multiple dual enrollment classes, they don't really do anything. And so I got 4s and 5s on my APs and only took 7 total during all four of my high school years. And so classes should be chosen based on difficulty and student enjoyment. So if you're looking to go into engineering, go into computer science, or any sort of field where physics is a focus and you love STEM, take AP Physics C. Don't take it because it looks good, but take it because it'll prepare you with the necessary knowledge to go into these really STEM-focused fields. And GPA is just as important as course rigor. It's not, I hear a lot of parents, especially, talk about, oh, it's important to do the hardest classes, but really that's sort of a very narrow-minded way to look at how courses should be selected. Your academic choices should align with your intended major. So like, I'm in Wharton, so because of that, so going back, I should have taken AP Microecon and AP Macroecon. And then engineering hopefuls should excel in both calculus, physics, and other hard STEM classes. So basically what we're doing here with the academics, with the courses, is to line up, to build your story and to have it all line up. And so standardized testing, this is a popular topic nowadays, especially after many schools reverted from their test optional stances. And so students targeting Ivy Plus schools should aim for a 1500 plus on the SAT or equivalent on the ACT. So the reason for this is with the few years of test optional policies, the only people submitting SAT scores are those with really, really high SAT scores. So because of that, all of the averages for this year and the coming few years will be hyperinflated. And so most admitted students at top schools that submitted their scores will have scores of over 1500. And so it'll take several years before these averages potentially decrease simply because of how data distributions work. So now it is necessary for high scores to be able to even get considered for elite admissions. And so now let's talk about extracurriculars. So extracurriculars, again, it's a very hot topic among college admissions because no one knows what exactly to do to get into certain schools. Do I make my own nonprofit? Do I found my own club? Or can I just do what I like? So that's what we're going to be talking about. So this is where your personality and your passions really shine through. So these activities demonstrate directly how you'll contribute to campus life. So for example, I did orchestra in high school. I liked playing music, and so I'm still involved in music now. I play in a chamber group, and next year I'm planning to audition for the Penn Symphony Orchestra. So that sort of that sort of sustained interest is what admissions officers are looking for. And so so I like to break down extracurriculars into two sort of different factors. So first is breadth, which means basically doing a diverse amount of activities across different domains that showcase various interests and skills. And so basically diversity. So basically you can be in an art club, you can do a sport, you can help volunteer, you can help teach children language. So the diversity of your activities is one factor to consider. The other side is depth. So it's sustained commitment and achievement. So if you're really passionate about, let's say, robotics, you join your robotics team freshman year and you stay all the way into senior year and end up winning like a national championship or a national award for robotics. That's called depth. That's when you really are passionate about a certain extracurricular and you do it until the very end, and you have a quantifiable or notable achievement to go along with it. And so for an extracurricular list to make sense, you need to balance your extracurriculars between these two dimensions, so breadth and depth. And so let's talk about breadth first. So it's important to diversify your time across different activities. And so the big thing here is really do what you love, do what truly engages you. Activities don't all have to be pre-professional. Like if you're trying to do anything, you don't always have to do stuff that really aligns with what you want to do, because a lot of students, they don't know what they want to major in or what they want to do as like a professional. And a lot of times that changes the moment you get into college or throughout your college life. So don't really be set on, oh, I want to go into investment banking, or like I want to become a software engineer. It's good to have those ambitions, but it's also good to not be tunnel visioned into one singular path, so you can explore other options. And so, as you can see here, sports, arts, community service, and cultural activities, they all have value. So breadth demonstrates your curiosity and your willingness to do stuff that you maybe have never done before. So now let's talk about depth. So the activities you're most passionate about, they should show significant investment of time and effort. And so how do we display depth? We do it by having leadership positions that demonstrate responsibility, measurable results, awards or recognition, programs that you've created or substantially improved, like a nonprofit or maybe even a startup, or publications, research, or other numerical or tangible outputs that you can then show admissions officers. Quick side note, if you look to the right, family responsibilities and employment also count too. So one of my extracurriculars was actually I took care of my younger brother while my parents were working, because they're both immigrants and I needed to, because my parents didn't have time. And so that was one of my extracurriculars because I had to do it, and it was an activity that took up a majority of my time. And so then the point of extracurriculars is, again, do what you love. And so you can see the quote by the famous Steve Jobs here. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. So if you don't love what you do, there's really no point in doing it. If you're going to do something, you're going to try and do it well. There's no point in trying to do something with only 50% energy when you could be doing something else with 100%. Yeah. And so moving on. So we're going to summarize the holistic picture here. And so strong academics, meaningful activities, and authentic personality. All of your entire application should showcase who you are and who you are as a person. It should leap off the page and not just be an 11-page packet, but the admissions officer can finish reading and be like, oh, I would be friends with this kid, or I really like that he's interested in this. It seems like we would get along really well. You want them to have that sort of realization rather than, oh, this guy's extracurriculars are all over the place and I don't really know what he's trying to do. And so I have here just a slide as like a little break to please cherish your teenage years. I've seen so many of my own clients and also other peers just waste away their high school experience just chasing college admissions, chasing this sort of idea of perfection when perfection really doesn't exist. And so your teenage years are some of the only years that you will have that you are truly free and you don't have to pay taxes, first of all. And you don't have any of the personal burdens and the responsibilities that come with being an adult. And so above all else, please cherish your teenage years. And so now let's talk about your essays. So your opportunity to speak directly to admissions officers. So let's talk about how college essays came to be. So college essays emerged as an alternative to in-person interviews. And so historically, colleges conducted face-to-face interviews with applicants because there were so few. And so as application numbers grew exponentially, this became logistically obviously impossible. And so when you go to write your essay, which Tanisha will talk about later, they serve the same fundamental purpose as those interviews, to go beyond the resume, to go beyond your extracurriculars and show the person behind the application. So the fundamental purpose of essays. So they reveal personality, they demonstrate communication skills, and they help admissions officers envision how you might contribute to campus discussions. And so the key insight here is that essays, they answer questions that can't be really addressed elsewhere. So writing memorable essays. This goes back to the central theme of a good college application is a memorable college application. So you don't need to be a Pulitzer-winning author. You don't need to have an extraordinary life story. You don't need to have cured cancer or overcome extreme trauma. You choose stories that are meaningful to you. If you have a story that is really memorable to you, you remember it all the time, then you can reflect deeply on it and convey it in a way that becomes memorable for the reader. That doesn't necessarily need some gut-wrenching story or some impossible achievement, but it takes time and it takes really deep reflection on why this journey, why this story is so meaningful to you.